Good morning. It is almost 9 o'clock on the East Coast, March the 11th. Beware the Ides of March. It's a Tuesday. Yesterday we had one of the biggest down days in about 2 years. We dropped precipitously from around the 5,700 area all the way down to overnight lows were 55.50. We're like below, or let's see, we've bounced back almost 100 points overnight. But we are retracing some of that as we speak. Yesterday, I had two new Apex evals that I had opened. And got one in big trouble, swang a little too hard, got caught in a big, I was short with too many contracts on full size minis and got swept up in a big short squeeze. And so I cut myself off in that eval account and switched over to the second new. They are $250,000 Apex evals, so they have up to 27 minis you can trade, and you have $6,500 in drawdown. Now, big days like yesterday, if I don't typically do quote YOLO trades, but if you want to use those days to try and get funded in one day, Apex will allow you to do that. So sometimes when they have these big sales and they're super cheap, I'll try to get through that eval process and get that eval finished quicker so I can get to funded faster. Not something I recommend anybody do when they're just trying to learn how to trade. We have a little bit of UV here and we're heading down, so I'm just going to nibble in a little long. If I can get a protective stop in here. See, we just have so much. It's almost better just to take 2 or 3 ticks profit rather than try to protect anything at this point. Our markets are just so volatile. And today is going to be a tough day because we're going to be in price discovery. You can see over here that the tape is reading, it's rainbow tape right now almost. I don't see any green, but it's large orders. People are trying to jigger their portfolios. So, the futures, which is what we're trading right now, regular trading hours. So I just nibble in. I don't take any large positions in overnight trading. Sometimes I make my whole day's goals in the hour before the market opens. Often that happens, and it's really nice. And what I've learned is when that happens, just go do something else all day long. Either get a new eval if you want to keep trading to practice doing 1-tick drills or something like that, or go work on your website, something. So anyway, these two. So what happened yesterday was I was able to put some points on the board with this eval. Let's see if I can trail this up just a hair. I think we've got another tick or two here to the upside. Okay, and we'll just let that have it. I like round numbers. So this account survived. The other one did not. So number 39, 139 is up it was up 900 yesterday, and today we've pre-market put another 530 bucks on the board. These two Apex accounts in particular, I'm doing not really an experiment, but I'm tracking trading the ES in this one, and then the 138 I killed yesterday because I was actually going to swing hard and try to get a new one funded. Didn't happen. It's no big deal. So this is a fresh one, and this one I'm trading exclusively the NQ. Now I have specific targets for each one of them each day. The good and bad thing about setting goals, monetary goals, or I never really do monetary goals, but what I do is if I want to make X amount of dollars per year, I'll divide that times the number of days of trading, or days, or just divide it by the month, and then an average of 4 days of trading. So 16 days of trade, because I want to give myself some time for holidays, or a day that I just don't trade because the markets are really crappy, or I have I'm out on a boat, or whatever, I'm traveling, because that happens more often than you would expect. So I factor that into my goals as far as making money. And these two in particular, I'm doing basically for tracking purposes, getting them to funded and both making about 90,000 per year. So that is for the ES an average of 60 ticks per day. And so I'm almost at that in this account here. And for the NQ, that is 150 ticks per day. So I just go back and forth between these two until I have collected that many ticks, and then I totally quit. So, and then in these two, this account is a take profit trader. So I only have 6 contracts with this one, and they no longer have their trailing drawdown, thank God, because that was really a pain in the ass. This is only a $50,000 account. And it is, I think I've traded it enough days, but I got myself upside down in this one yesterday, unfortunately, because I was so close to getting this one funded, and then I swung a little too hard, so I've hurt myself quite a bit in that one. And then my funded account, I actually screwed myself on Friday. I made a little money yesterday, but Friday I actually lost some money in that one. So unfortunately, it's 1 step back, 2 steps forward. But these are the things that you have to. The markets have been really, really hard to trade, and every time you get a little confident, they smack you down. So this is one of the things I love about trading is the same thing that I love about training horses. If you've seen my YouTube channel, you've seen a lot of my horse activities. Training a horse is a very humbling sport as well. You never, ever, ever know everything. Every day is brand new. And even though you may be familiar with that horse and have a relationship and know how it acts, and there's always the plastic bag that flies, across the field, or the deer that runs across your dressage arena, or something. He's just in a bad mood. He ate not enough hay, or too much hay, or whatever. Who knows what goes through their head. But, and I ride a lot of stallions, and I ride a lot of mares that can be even more difficult and persnickety than the stallions. So anyway, starting out this morning, just kind of watching and nibbling in here and there, trading the evals. I'm not trading the funded account until I am confident in the price action being predictable enough that I can, get base hits. That's all I'm after. I want $100, $200, $500 a day. Nothing huge, nothing, just consistency, right? So you would be amazed how, if you just take the good trades when they're presented to you, and they become obvious over time. If you haven't learned a setup, then you just watch, right? You watch, you interact, you either get a cheap eval, or if you're just beginning, just do it on the sim. And I'll be developing on my website, I'll be developing some uh, tutorials and that sort of thing, and giving you references to places where you can go and learn the mechanics. But in the beginning, just watching, learning how, because when you first sit down and look at this, it looks like a NASA dashboard or something. I remember looking at one of my mentors' screens, and it literally looked like a spaceship. And I was just like, oh my God, how do you read that? How do you make sense of all that? And over time, you develop what works for you, and you only have on your screen the bare minimum that you need to make successful trades. And you only trade the instruments that you can predictably and successfully manage. And even then, you're still going to have days where it goes sideways, or trades that don't work because there's news, or because Trump's in office again and he's speaking or tweeting, or whatever you do on True Socialing. So this account, I'm just trying to breathe some life back into, so that I can get it back to close to funded. And I'll get there. It'll just take a little longer. So when I do something like this to an account, what I'll take a look at is the cost of renewal. So this is only less than 30 days old. So if it costs more to renew, not reset. I rarely reset anything. The only accounts that I will reset is if I have a deal like with Apex, where it costs only $40 to reset an account that I have paid $16 for a $250,000 account. Well, obviously I want to keep that $250,000 that only cost me, $16 a month or $20 a month. But if I don't want to wait if I've killed it or come close to killing it, if I don't want to wait for the renewal to automatically reset it, then I will pay the $40 to reset it, and have a fresh account. So, but I try only to buy when the deals are just obvious. I think there's an 80% off sale right now going on Apex. I have a number of Apex accounts that I got way cheaper than that even. So I'm not buying any more of those. But I like to get those when they do the deals where they sell the $250,000 accounts for the same price as any of them. And then I'll buy like 10 or 20. And I just keep them alive. And that's why sometimes I'll swing hard, because why not? When you have a day that's going to, like yesterday was a bloodbath, why not blow one of those in an attempt to get it funded in a day, because I had just reset that one. Or it was close to resetting on its own and I hadn't used it. So anyway, these take profit ones, though, are more expensive. So I treat them a little. I will give this one the full 30 days. And if I'm down in it before it resets, then I will kill it and let it reset, depending on what the price per month is. Or I just cancel it and buy a new one the next time they have a deal. I think we might be at the end of our, maybe not. Okay. Are we going to go lower? We're getting closer to the open, so I'm probably going to close out my trade. Let's see. When we get a poor low, and this isn't really a low, this because the overnight low is way the heck down here, as a matter of fact. Well, that's yesterday's low. Let's leave that in place, just so we know. But the overnight low is way down here. So just statistically, if we're going to break an overnight high or low at the open, we're closer to the high than we are the low. That doesn't mean we can't open and just sell off and continue selling from yesterday. Unlikely. More likely that we've hit the bottom of this node, the overnight volume node, and we're going to turn around and take out the high. Now, if we take out the high strong, then it bodes well to be a very strong up day. If we have a weak break and we turn and fall, then we may have another leg lower to go. So we'll be watching that very closely. I think I want to take this off just so I can go make a cup of coffee. Anyway, that's my pre-market analysis. I actually have a meeting to get into myself, and I still haven't got myself situated. I might just, instead of doing a YouTube live, or maybe I'll do them both simultaneously, I think I'm going to move over to Rumble. But anyway, in the meantime, I'm just going to keep posting my morning trades, both mostly for accountability for myself and to kind of get used to establishing this as my daily routine. And hopefully build an audience here where I can help people learn not just how to trade the market, because that takes a long time. It really does. I treat this like a master's degree. When I first sat down and said, oh my God, I have to learn this. Is like if you have ever gone to university or college, and it takes a couple years to get a degree. And then once you graduate, just because you have education doesn't mean you're worth anything. I mean, you got to get a job where someone's willing to pay you something. And it's not the same as somebody who has experience and education, right? So first you got to get the degree, and it costs money to get the degree. So you pay for the education either in being self-taught and making mistakes and losing money, or in finding somebody like me that can help you learn along the way. And yes, you got to pay for it. One way, shape, or form, you're going to pay for it. So I embraced that a long, long time ago as a trainer. I went to Olympic riders, team members, or their coaches, and that's the only people that I ever took lessons from. So that way, at least I got a solid education from people who I knew could do what I wanted to do. They had what I wanted, so I did what they did, so I got what they have. Or I was able to master it to a degree that I could turn it into my own. And that's where I'm at now with trading. I would not call myself a master at this, but I have enough years of solid success that I'm comfortable sharing some of that knowledge with others that are not as far along as me. So anyway, more of that to come in the future. So let me find my escape here, and we'll see you after the open.